Hey everyone, this is Emily with Moms with Cameras, and today we are going to do a quick Lightroom tutorial. I have a lot of you writing and asking me how to use Lightroom, and I feel like it's something that's better shown than written about, so hopefully this video will help you. I do not at all consider myself a Lightroom expert. As a matter of fact, I use only a handful of its features. So I'm hoping that this just helps those of you who maybe are not shooting in RAW and want to give it a try. That was one of my big hurdles, mental hurdles, was just freaking out about RAW processing. I didn't realize how easy it is. And the other thing is I'm hoping that it'll help those of you who are maybe wanting to jump from another platform, like maybe you're using Bridge or maybe you're just using random folders on your computer. I'm just hoping that it'll help those of you who want to make the switch to Lightroom to see how intuitive and easy it really is. So we're going to go ahead and get started. What you will do, of course, is you'll open it up. You'll open your Lightroom. And then this is just from the last time I ran through this video. This is take two because my first round was awful, and so hopefully this will be a little smoother. Anyways, you'll open it up, and then you'll make a new catalog. This is how I do it anyways. You'll make a new catalog, and you'll name that catalog. Now, I like a new catalog for every client. Other people like to do it, by the day, or maybe, if you're photographing multiple sessions per day, you do it by day, or you do it by month, or however you'd like to do it. My preference is to give one catalog per client or one catalog per session. So like if my client comes back twice in that year, I might have Baby Joe newborn session, and then we'll have Baby Joe 2, and that's the 1 year session. So at any rate, I'm going to name this Moms with Cameras Lightroom Training, and we'll say create. Oh, and that's because of the last one, so we're going to call it Lightroom Training. Sorry, create. And that'll open up for us. Now normally what I would do is, like, if I've got my card hooked up, I will go ahead and import from my card. However, for today's purposes, I don't want that many files to work with. We'd be here a long time waiting for them to import. So for today, I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel, but normally I do. I bring them in from my card reader. So for today, what we're going to do is we're going to go to File, Import Photos from Disk. You can see this is where I've already done it once, but this was a folder on my desktop. And so I'm just going to pull the files that we're going to be working with today. And so I'll click on them and hit choose, and it'll bring up this little dialog box, and we're just going to say yes, import them. And so that was pretty speedy. If it's coming from the disk or from the card, it does take quite a while because you have a lot of files and they're first coming into the computer, they're being imported into the computer since these were already loaded, and it was only a few of them. It was very speedy. So the first thing that I like to do is I like to do a sort. I don't show my clients every image that I take. I strongly discourage photographers from doing that. I had a cousin who got married, and she sent me her site, and her photos were beautiful, but the photographer showed every single photo they took. And to be honest, I did not even plow through half of them, because by the time I got to image 800, my brain was exhausted. So I cut down my files. I recommend that other photographers do as well. My magic number is 40 to 60. It depends on the type of session. Senior sessions typically have more images, and then it depends on the type of senior session, how many images. So it kind of varies for me, but I'm typically looking at 40 to 60. Today, for our purposes, I have, I think, 10 files here, and we are going to pull, I'm going to say that we need to find 3. So what I first do is I just click on the first one. You just double click on it, and you'll see that it took me from this thumbnail to this single photo. And so what I use is I use my arrow keys to toggle back and forth. So I'm going to go, right, left, and it moves me forward or it moves me backwards. And I'm just going to flag the ones that I like. Now the way to flag is I hit P on my keyboard. So when I hit P, it says flag as pick. And so I'll show it to you again, flag as pick. And I'm just going to pick the ones that I like. So I liked that one, I like this one. Yeah, I really like that one. That's cute. That's cute. Eh, I like that one. And I don't like that one so much. And I like, no, I don't. So anyway, I'm going to say those are the ones that I like. So when I go back to my thumbnail view, then you'll see that I have much more than the 3 that I'm after flagged. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Edit, select Flagged Photos, because these are the ones I just originally knee-jerk reaction thought, yeah, I kind of like these. And I'm going to go to Library, New Collection, and because I'm not at all creative in naming them, I call my collections Pics, because it was flagged as a pic. So I'll hit Create. So I have twice as many as I need. So what I do is then I double click again and I just toggle back and forth again and look and I start weeding. So out of these two, I like this one better. So I'm going to delete that one and I might decide like, oh, well I have a bunch of, full lengths and so I need some closer ones. So I might delete that one. And I might say, well, out of all of them, this gives the most variety. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that one. And then I've made my selections. And, sometimes like if I have 62, I won't be crazy harsh on myself about, oh, I need to weed out 2. If I just keep going through and love them, then I'll keep them in. And, some people do use, like if you have 2 very similar ones, they'll use this X and Y where you can pull up 2 and compare them. I don't use that very often except for when I'm wanting to check and see like which one is sharper. And that type of thing. So I don't use that very much. I mostly toggle back and forth. So now that I have my 3 initial edits, I'm going to do just a quick rough edit, I guess is the best word, of each file. And so like this one I can tell is blown out, so I'm just going to bring the exposure down a bit. I'm going to bump my recovery, bring a little bit of detail back to those highlight areas. And her blacks look good. I think the fill light looks pretty good. I'm guessing I'm working off of a laptop right now, but at any rate, I'm going to say, yeah, I think that looks pretty good. So then I'll toggle to my next one, and I'm going to bump my exposure a tiny bit. I'm going to bump my contrast a little bit on this one, and I think that she's looking a little, yeah. But again, I'm working on a laptop, so I have no idea. And then on this one, I feel like my exposure looks pretty good, and my temperature, maybe, I don't know. Most of you guys know from previous posts, I send out a lot of my post-processing. I'm not very good at judging color. If I look at 2 side by side, I can tell you which one looks better, but I myself, looking at the file, tend to make things worse than better, so I send out a lot of my stuff. So this is just basic editing for me. For example, when I'm showing in a viewing, when I'm showing on my blog, like I do a couple of sneak peeks for the girls, or like on my Facebook, the Emily Potts Photography Facebook page, I'll put some posts up there. Those types of things go, with this. But the images that I'm going to send onto the lab or make an album with, they go out, they're processed, and then they come back. So once I have that, then I'm just going to click over to my develop module really quickly. And here you can fine tune a little bit. So like let's say that I thought, oh, bumping the exposure a third of a stop was too much, but I can kind of go a tiny bit one way or the other, and you can actually see your numbers here. So it'll tell you how far you're going. And you can do some croppings. Like if I felt like, oh, she needs to be straightened, or I want to bring this closer here, I can. You just hit enter once you have your crop lined up. Like this makes me nutty that the brick isn't very straight, so I'll straighten things up. And I also feel like it's too high above her head. I like a decent amount of headroom, but that one felt a little way up there. And then same over here, like for this image specifically, I think I want her squared up just a bit. Ugh, and straight. That's like a big pet peeve for me, non-straight. It still doesn't look straight. Okay, so at this point I feel like it's good. So then what I'm going to do is just come back to my library, and I'm going to click on the first one, then I'll hit Control or Command A. So for you Mac users, it's Command. For you PC users, I'm pretty sure it's Control. we're going to go to File, Export, and you can see where I've already done this once. So I'm going to choose my folder. Normally I'd be making a new folder in my sessions, but not today. So normally I would click new folder and name one. I'm going to go ahead and hit choose over here. Lightroom training, I'm going to call it B because we've done this once before. And I always like to do the custom, like a custom name. And what I normally do with my sessions is first initial, last name, and then start number. Or you have other choices, like you can come over here if you would like to just do a custom name or do the date and the file name, however you decide that you would like to have your images numbered or named. So at any rate, and then depending on your lab, you'll choose JPEG or TIFF and keep your color space there. And I don't really mess with any of this other stuff because I'll do sharpening in Photoshop and that kind of thing. And so I just click export and they're going to go on their way. And everything will be set as a JPEG, named JPEG in my folder, and I'll be ready to go. So hopefully, I'm so sorry that was still a little rough even though it was our second pass through, but hopefully those of you who are wanting to start using Lightroom, or maybe you want to start photographing in RAW and you were a little nervous about how to do it, this will kind of get you started. And Lightroom is amazingly affordable for what all it can do, so that's really fantastic, and you can use it both on Apple and PC formats, like it goes back and forth. So like if you have one, like for example, for a while I used a PC desktop and the Mac laptop, and then I was able to use it on both of them, which is kind of great. So anyways, I hope y'all learned a lot, and thank you so much for your patience with me as I'm learning this whole video tutorial thing. And I hope all of you photographer mamas have a great day. Thanks. Bye.